I'll give the game away. I'll give the game away to the entire YouTube world why I've destroyed absolutely everybody in any debate ever. I say things that they know are true and that they agree with, but I say it in a way that angers them emotionally, and they get caught up in their brain because they're saying, he's saying the truth, but I'm pissed off by how he's saying it. So I want to argue with him, but he's right. So instead of saying men are physically stronger than women, I'll say females are weak. Females are weak. Well, females are weak. Females are weak. Men are strong. Females are weak. No, but females are... But I'm right, and he knows I'm right. But he's mad now, and so is she, and they sit there, and you'll happen on Dave Portnoy. You end up having a whole group of people sitting there trying to argue, well, some women are strong like men, trying to argue the fact that women are as strong as men physically, because I've emotionally controlled them all and upset them all. And then I do a podcast, and I get billions and millions of views and unlimited likes against good debaters like Dave and his little crew by just emotionally controlling them. It's an emotional game. I wreck them. I've never given this game away before anyway. But this is what I do. I sit there and I say something they know is true in a way they can't agree with it, and I control them all because they're stupid. If I was me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, perhaps I don't like the way you phrased it, but you're very true. That takes intellect. People are emotional. So this is why I wreck all of them. And you're right. I poke them on purpose, and it makes it very difficult to argue with me, especially if they agree with what I'm saying, but they don't like the way it's being said. That's where you see the full breakdowns, the full mental break or danger. Not many people know this, but I used to sell windows. You know the old school knock on the door? Window sales. I did window sales for 2 or 3 years, and I'd say this is one of the hardest jobs you could possibly do. And I would always recommend a young man, if he has some time to waste, to go sell windows. And the reason, it's fantastic, because I'll tell you why. It's the hardest one to sell because 1, nobody wants them. 2, they don't know who you are. And 3, even if you convince them that they need windows, after them not knowing who you are, then they go to all your competitors and then it becomes a price war. It's a nightmare. It's the hardest sales job. If you're selling a Lambo, at least they want the Lambo, right? Nobody wants glass and plastic. They already have windows. So you gotta find a way to sell them these windows. How do you do that? And that's where all this master communication comes in. And it's so many subtle little things. Being a good salesman is not necessarily being a liar. It's not being a trickster. It's just understanding what's gonna make the person believe and understand what you say. If I walked in and said, would you like new windows? And they essentially said, no, we don't need new windows. Our windows look fine. I would say, but what about the security aspect? While looking at their 3-year-old child. And they'd sit there and go, what do you mean security aspect? And then I talk about how we had the lock 5000, and their locks are easy to break, as if glass isn't glass, it's all the same anyway. And you'd end up selling the windows. You have to find the triggers in people. There's another thing people don't understand about me and my message. Sometimes I sit here and I say things that piss people off because that's how you trigger people to make action. I have often written emails or done videos especially to men when I want to help men, to piss them off. You're a loser. You're a dumbass. Andrew, why you mean? Because you're not going to go to the gym unless I tell you you're a f***ing loser. And you are a loser, and I'm not lying to you. You are a loser. The emotional trigger you need to get up off that chair is the fact that you're not important, nobody cares who you are, any girl you're ever in love with I could take, and you're insignificant, and when you die, nobody's interested. That's your fault. You could have been something else. You did that. You failed. It has to be done. You have to be a master communicator, and sometimes that involves also insulting people. To be a master at communicating, you also need experiences worth talking about. You have to live a life. You need a degree of wisdom, and wisdom doesn't always come with age, it comes with life lived. I had a guy message me, this is a long time ago when I used to reply to my own emails, too big now, but he said, I don't have any stories, my life's boring. I said, bro, where do you live? He said, Madrid. I said, bro, ride the train from Madrid to St. Petersburg. Ride the train from Madrid to Vladivostok. Do the Trans-Siberian Railway. Cost you like $300. He goes, oh, but what if I get robbed? Exactly! That's exactly the point! What if you get robbed? Now you have a story. Maybe you'll die, maybe you won't. But you have a story. Don't bring your watch. If you got a Rolex, no one wants to rob you anyway. Don't worry about it. You're brokey. Get on the train. There has to be that degree of risk to even have a story, because when you have a story, then you can communicate the story. You can't be an empty vessel either. So when you say you're telling me how I build this 20-year-old into a super soldier. Yeah, he has to be a master communicator, but he also has to do things which are risky. Risk has value intrinsically linked to it, intrinsically. This is why people, when you do risky things, people want to hear the story. Your coolest stories involve risk. Something went wrong, this could have happened, I almost this, I made it out. Without these risks, you haven't got it. So I would say to the 20-year-old, do what I did, get in the cage, get in the ring. Knock someone out, get knocked out, train hard. Fighting will teach you everything you need to know about life. You'll learn everything about who you truly are. You'll learn if you're a coward or not. You'll learn everything about perseverance and hard work and dedication, everything about being underappreciated. You learn everything about fear. You learn all of it. You learn everything about people. You win a fight, check your phone. Lose a fight, check your phone. You learn all about people. You learn all about them. You learn all about women. I learned so much about women through fighting. When I had a fight coming up and I was weight drained and I had barely eaten in weeks and I'd lost all this weight and I had a world title fight and I'm fighting a guy who might kill me and she's complaining about the toilet seat. I learned all about women. You learn a lot about life through these difficult processes and paths. And there used to be for men like a rite of passage. In most societies, you had to go through something to become a man, from a boy to a man. But that thing was always difficult. It's always been difficult. Now you have to self-induce it, self-inflict it. But if you're going to be a boy and never bring on that self-inflicted rite of passage, how are you going to ever become a man? I think it's probably the least discussed superpower on earth is being able to speak well.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. People talk about being strong. Great. People talk about being rich. Okay, fantastic. But being able to speak correctly and properly and very well is a completely under-discussed superpower. It's the reason I refuse to learn another language. I've lived in Romania for 7 years. I know 3 words. And people say, why don't you learn Romanian? So, because I don't know English yet. When I know every single word in English, I'll learn Romanian because English makes me money. I don't need to learn Romanian. It doesn't make me any money. Practice.
We love that.
But it's not, in fact, correction. It's not practice. It's feedback. A lot of people practice things all the time and stay terrible. I had a guy say to me, in the war room, we actually do this training. I train the guys in the war room how to speak better. And that's one of the best things you can learn in life. And that's one of the reasons the war room is so valuable, because at the war room events, we do specific training for this particular task. And the guy was saying about how his business has improved, how much more money he makes, and how much better he is with girls, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was saying, yeah, okay, fine. But the reason I speak so well is not because I'm practiced, because this man was older than me. It's like, you've been speaking longer than I have.
Yeah.
It's not practice, it's feedback. If you don't analyze what you've done, then you're not going to identify your mistakes and where you can improve. I will watch this podcast back 10 times and I will realize all the times I stuttered, or all the times I had to repeat myself, or all the times I didn't use a word I was supposed to use. And that's why next time I do a podcast, I'll be better than even before. And that's also a lesson you can take and apply towards life. You can apply the feedback aspect towards life. Practice alone will not improve you. Practice is going to build habits. In fact, from fighting, I know this very well. If you allow a student to come and learn bad habits at the beginning, it's very hard to get out of them. This is why most people, when they talk on podcasts, are saying, I can't even listen to that shit. I'm like, you don't even speak English? Why are you sitting down? You don't speak English?
Why is it so hard to get your point across?
Well, if you can't get your point across compendiously and you can't articulate yourself in a concise manner, how do you expect other people to affiliate with your worldview? Or one of the superpowers of life is thinking something and making somebody else think the same. Oh, sorry, police, lover boy. But sitting there and making somebody agree with you, or at least making them understand why you think how you think, is a superpower, surely.
Yeah.
And it's massively misunderstood and underrepresented and not used, and it's not practiced and it's not versed. And I think also, I'm actually kind of curious, I've thought about this myself, how useful it will be into the future when the AI comes along and controls us all. You know what my biggest fear of the machine minds are?
Go on.
My biggest fear is that people will be as smart as me. That'll piss me off. I like being smarter than everyone. I don't want a bunch of people to have Google brains that are smarter than mine. I'm supposed to be the smartest guy in the room. That's gonna annoy me. I know, but what if they can get words from the dictionary as quick as I can? Like, I had to work hard for that. Now they're just gonna get a microchip. That's a cheat. It's gonna piss me off. I don't want that to happen. Hopefully it happens when I'm already gone. But yeah, being able to speak is a massively misunderstood superpower that a lot of people need to understand that can drastically change their life. But you're only gonna be able to do it if you apply feedback to it. And the same is with absolutely everything in your life. Not enough people look back on what they did and identify where they made a mistake. And some people will do it when they lose, but the true professionals do it when they win. When my dad was playing a chess game, if he won the game, he would still analyze the game and see if he could have lost, where it could have gone wrong, how he could have won faster, what mistakes he did make, what he did well, what he did wrong, win or lose. So many people will sit in a scenario where everything went wrong and go, in fact, correction, not so many people. I would say 75% of people will not ever self-analyze the situation they're in. They'll blame everyone else. If they went to jail like I did, they'd say, they put me in jail because they're liars and the Matrix did it. Fine. True. But when I was in jail, I was like, how did I get here? What did I do? What did I say? Who did I piss off? What institutions want me in jail? What did I do that angered them? Me. I'm taking absolute self-accountability for everything. I'm not blaming anything else, because if I blame everything else, I have no control. If I blame myself, then I can influence it. I have control over it. So 75% of people blame other people, or they blame other things. I lost my business because of COVID. No, you lost your business because of you. I lost my girl because her friends were hoes. No, you lost your girl because of you. You lost your car because of you, and it's all your fault, because that's the only thing that gives you control and power. The other 10%, we said 75, that's 85, no, it has to be much higher. Let's say the other 20%, which brings up to 95% of total of the populace, will look at a situation in which they lose, and they might self-analyze, and they might try and learn from the loss, and they'll try and find the feedback involved in the loss to make sure they don't lose again, which is obviously better than not analyzing at all.
At all, yeah.
And the top 5%, the absolute highest echelon, are people who are going to analyze every decision they've ever made, win or lose. I analyze my wins as well.
See where you went right.
See where I went right, see where I went wrong, see where it worked. You need to analyze your whole life. Your life needs to be feedback. You need to sit and it's over 10% into the year now. I wonder if anyone who made a New Year's resolution sits and says, it's over 10% into the year. Am I at 10% of my goal? Because your stupid ass said you were going to be a millionaire when you were drunk on New Year's Eve. Well, you need to have 100 grand saved. Do you have 100,000? Have you even done the feedback on your own goal you made 30 short days ago to realize that you're nowhere near it and you're not going to make it and you're a loser? No. Oh, I got the rest of the year. And then wonder why they fail. You should have a daily target. So you need to constantly feedback and analyze your life and take time out of scenarios. I do this all the time. There's been times I've got up out of bed and I've got ready and I've got my keys and I've got my phone and I've stroked my dog and I've had my coffee. I downed it quickly and it was just the right temperature, so it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. And I got in my car, which had already been started my Ferrari by my security team, and it was already warm. And I got in and I was out the door. I was like, I'll go out the door in 6 minutes. That's like 2 minutes faster than normal. Yeah, that was good. What did I do good? Well, the coffee. The coffee wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Usually it's too hot and I have to wait. Or it's too cold and I want another one. The coffee was just the right temperature. When was it made? And I'll check the message where I sent them to make me a coffee. And it sounds crazy, but I'll analyze how I left the fucking house while I'm driving. I'll be like, that was fast. That was good.
How can we do that again?
Done. I want to do that next time. People don't feedback ever. And they don't analyze the way they speak. If you're the kind of person who can't speak properly, you're the kind of person who doesn't analyze their own behaviors in life. That's what I would say. If I see somebody who can't make me understand why they think what they think, I'm going to sit and say, okay, well, you're not the kind of person who analyzes their own life. Now, do I trust you? Because let's say we start a business together and it all goes wrong. Are you going to come to me and say, I made a mistake. I can do better. This is the mistake I made. Or you're going to sit and say, well, the environment was hard. It was a hard business environment.
Wasn't in my control.
Yeah, some garbage and just cope. You know who the worst for this? Oh, I'm going to jail. Here we go. Going to jail. Women. Women take no self-accountability for anything. I'm a misogynist, it's true. No, they don't take self-accountability for anything. And they don't because they don't have to, because they are blessed with beauty from God. So they have a superpower, which is their beauty. And their beauty allows them to get away with being completely lacking self-accountability, because as a man, you have to be competitive. And the only way you can truly be competitive in war, which life is to be self-accountable, to blame yourself for everything, because that puts you in the highest possible mind state to compete against everyone else who wants the things you want.
For sure.
So you have to, as a man, self-analyze and be self-critical.
Your every move.
Every move. But as a woman, you don't, because you're hot, right? So they're not good at it. And I'm not insulting them. They're just not used to it, because they get to blame other people and blame everything else because their beauty allows them to get away with it. And that's the reason I said, my girlfriend said, would you ever let me drive your cars? I was like, never. Never, ever. She goes, why? I'm a good driver for a girl. And I said, yeah, my 4-year-old's a good speaker for a 4-year-old, but I wouldn't put him in front of a stadium to talk. So it doesn't matter how well you could drive for a girl. You're a girl. But that's not even the reason. The reason I wouldn't let you drive my cars is not because I think you're going to crash. I do. But that's not even what it's about. If I lent my boy a car, if I lent a man a car and he crashed it,
He'll take accountability for it.
He'd take accountability for it. He would come to me and say, there was a crash, this happened, I'll fix it, I'm sorry. Even if he believes it wasn't his fault, he would still, if he's the kind of guy I know, have enough self-accountability to go, this idiot pulled out of nowhere, but I was speeding. I was going fast, it's a fast car. I'm gonna fix the car, I'm gonna get it sorted, I'm gonna pay for it. If a woman crashes the car, that's not what you're gonna hear. It wasn't my fault. You don't understand. It wasn't me.
He pulled out,
and I didn't do anything wrong, and he pulled out. And I'm like, well, how are you going to fix it? I'm not going to fix it because he pulled out and I didn't know. Why are you yelling at me? This isn't my fault. And I'm left with a mess. So why am I letting her record in the first place? I'm left with a mess, and she's going to say it's not her fault. She'll crash into a tree by herself, and it wasn't her fault. The tree
did something.
Bro, it's clown world. So anyone who's not self-accountable, I don't trust. So back to, let's avoid the women's subjects, always gets me in trouble. Back to men. If you're a man who's not self-accountable, I don't trust you. So if you're a man who's making a mistake as permanent as not being able to speak and convey your ideas correctly, well, then I don't trust you as a person. And that's probably the best thing about money. People often ask me what the best thing about being rich is. And there's not much that's good. Private jets are good because it's convenient. It's like getting an Uber. There's no airport garbage. Supercars are fun. I love supercars. But most other rich stuff is garbage. Like caviar's crap, champagne's crap. What do rich people do? Golf,
I tried caviar
croquet,
one time and I thought it was disgusting.
It's all shit.
Yeah.
I don't like, one of the best things about being rich is I don't have to talk to anyone I don't want to talk to. If someone comes to me and goes, Andrew, we can make a lot of money together, but I think they're a nerd, it's great. I don't want your money. I would rather not have money than sit and talk to a nerd. You're a dork. Oh, you're a vegan. Get fucked. Oh, but we'll make money. Don't care. I don't want the money. I am principled in that. Which goes back into my earlier point about why I want my fans to have money, because if you have money, you're principled. If you're a brokey, you'll sell your soul. Which is why I don't want my fans to be broke. That's why I have the real world so they can join to make money, because if you are broke, you will say, I'm not a fan of Andrew if it benefits you financially, which means you're no good to me in a war, because now you're a traitor. I don't want that. So one of the best things about being rich is I get to be exceptionally principled, and I get to also not talk to anyone I don't want to talk to all of the time, which I do truly enjoy. It's one of the best things.
Body language. Body language is how people communicate without speaking. Since the dawn of human time, people have always communicated without speaking, and a man's role, and I'm assuming you're a man because I doubt a female would have bought this, a man's role is very, very specific in his body language. In this course, you're going to see a video where I kind of do an overview on body language, and I basically say, be combative. But I'm going to go into that into more detail in this video. The reason I say be combative is because being combative is the most important body language which exists, which you can portray to other men and to women. Because this is the only body language which was important for millennia. For human existence, the only important body language was the body language that you were not an easy target. It attracted women, and it made men respect you. So we're going to talk about the broad basics of body language, and then we're going to go into some little tips and tricks overall. So the first thing I want you to understand is, combative does not mean walking around swaying your shoulders like this. Combative means looking alert. I think Jordan Peterson says something about this, but I don't think his body language is particularly alpha. In fact, I don't think the world has many alpha role models. If you name the right-wing role models like Milo and Jordan Peterson, all these people are just weirdos. None of them are particularly overtly alpha, besides Trump himself. But Trump is a great guy to study body language-wise. You want a body language lesson, watch Trump. He doesn't play games. Anyway, you have to look combative. So to look combative, it's basic things. It means be ready for a fight. That does not mean project aggression. It means be ready for a fight. So if you were walking down the road, are you more ready for a fight with your hands in your pockets or your hands outside your pockets? Are you more ready for a fight if you're staring at your phone with your head down or with your head up, with your shoulders back, with your posture correct? What I'm going to teach you in this course is not just going to be do this, do this, do this. It's how to think about body language so that you're overtly aware of how you're acting. You need to be aware of how you act. So you need to have a correct posture. You need to sit up straight, sit properly. You need to have your hands out of your pockets. You need to look where you're going and not look down. Not be distracted. Not look like a victim. This is extremely important when projecting to men, and it's also important when projecting to women. So we're going to go in that in detail in this course. So, I know I just mentioned Trump, but we also can't forget about Putin, because he was KGB trained. He knows exactly how to act. So when someone's talking to him and he wants to make it clear he doesn't give a fuck what they say, he will, for example, lean back in his chair. So Putin will sit there and you'll start talking to him and he'll sit like this. This is Putin's I don't give a fuck. This is Putin's I'm not listening. Many traditional body language courses will teach you, if you cross your arms, you're not receptive. This is true. Like this shows you're not open, you're not receptive, you're crossing your arms, etc. But there's much more subtle moves like leaning back in your chair. Leaning back in your chair is a great one. I use it all the time. Someone will sit there, they'll start talking to me. If I don't like what they have to say, I'll lean back in my chair. I'll still look at them, I'll lean back in my chair, but I'll look directly at them. And they'll know. So I've upset him somehow. So I'll make that clear. So we're going to go over a few things. The first thing we're talking about is being trusted and listened to. Now, if you've bought my other courses, you know that my brain is a mega hive of unlimited potential. Petabytes of... Is petabyte even a thing? No. Okay. We'll go back then. If you've bought my other courses, you'll know that my brain is unrivaled by anyone else on this planet. Terabytes upon terabytes of information from fuck knows where. I'm just a genius. So like all my other videos, I'm just gonna be talking. Bang, information's just gonna be coming at you. You need to sit there, slow it down, watch it over and over again, decipher it, and put some things in action. Because I guarantee there's a lot you're doing wrong already. Right now, don't move. Your posture right now, where are your hands? Are you sitting up straight? Do you even look? Are you sitting correctly? Or are you all like in your chair? Maybe you're already making mistakes, you don't know. So the first things we're talking about is how to be listened to and trustworthy. I have been to court 6 times, and every time I've walked, and I've never used a lawyer, and I've represented myself. And the reason for that is because I speak very clearly, very precisely, and I know exactly how to use the human language. But secondly is my body language. So sometimes in court, you need to look believable. You need to look innocent. And to do this, you make yourself appear less aggressive. Big men have this problem. Small men are very concerned about looking big, whereas a big man, in many situations, you need to look less intimidating. If my car breaks down and I want to knock on someone's door to use the phone, I know that's super old school, and I know that's how people get murdered in every single movie. That's just an example. But if I knock on a door, people don't answer the door to me. When me and Tristan knock on doors, they look outside and go, what the f***? Who the f***? 2 6'5" dudes at the door. No chick is opening that door. Me and my brother used to have a job where we used to do door-to-door sales a long time ago, and we had to quit the job because no one would answer the door to us. Fucking these 2 massive guys, we were like, what the fuck? No one answered. Out the window, what? Can I sell you? Nah, get the fuck away from my house. So you have to try and change your body language to appear less aggressive. So we'd actively slunk or hold a clipboard or something to just make yourself seem smaller. So when I was in court and they were accusing me of things I didn't, but even though I was innocent, of course, you have to look innocent. So you don't look innocent by looking aggressive. You look innocent by looking smaller. You make yourself seem smaller. You'd add in stammering to your language. So I never say and ever. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't think it's fair, and you almost, in many ways, see yourself appear less intelligent. Not less intelligent in a stupid, he's dumb, he did it way, in a very like, I couldn't hurt anyone. Women are experts at this. Women do this the best. Watch a female get pulled over by the police. Watch her just start going, oh really? Playing stupid is a great way to play innocent, and it's very, very effective. What you'll find in body language, sometimes the biggest results is when you can juxtapose them against each other. So while I was in court, they'd ask me questions, like, oh no, I don't even really know how that works, to be honest with you. I don't really know. I've added in these little delays. I deliberately slow my speech down. But then when I had to make a point, I'd completely flip it. And I'd be very adamant and direct with my words. Even now, and even in all my Take speech videos, you'll notice how I use my hands. If I have a point to make, I use my hands to make the point. I direct the point with my hands. You're gonna notice me doing it all the time now. Something I do on accident. But if I wanna make a point, I'll say something like, and the reason for this, the reason your mom has a big ass is because she eats too much. I'll do things like this. I'll explain the reason, I'll get your attention with my hands, and then I'll directly give you the reason. I'll put it into your brain. I'll put it in with my hands. This is something I do completely by natural. I don't even have to think about it anymore, but it's something I did learn. And it's amazing with women. It's great with women when you're arguing with them, and they sit there and be like, blah, 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 blah. I didn't fucking fuck her. Be quiet. I didn't hit her, but the physical action makes them sit there and go, oh, okay. Just be very aware and very avert with your hands. Like I said, this course is just going to be knowledge flying at you. So when you talk, where are your hands? Where are they? How do you use them? Your hands, you should be extremely expressive with your hands, especially if you're a man. Before I was a kickboxing world champion, I worked in sales. And I had the best sales record in the company, obviously. And a lot of that was down to body language. I would sit there in front of somebody. I sold TV advertising. I'd sit there and say, you need TV advertising. They go, oh, we do pretty good. I said, yeah, you do good now. But in the future, you're gonna need TV advertising. It's the future of advertising. You're gonna need it. I'll tell people you ain't got a choice. You better buy it today. You need this. I sit there and go, okay, well, let me look at your current strategy and then maybe I can improve it. No, fuck that garbage. If you're a salesman, you're watching this now, you better start telling people they need it. You can't live without this. You need this today. I understand my industry. No disrespect. You're a diaper company or you're a fucking water company. You understand water. You know more about water than me. I understand advertising. See what I've done there? You understand water. That's your thing. Advertising is my thing. You don't tell me about your advertising strategy because I don't care. Advertising is my thing. It's mine. I own it. And if I say you need something, you better buy it. So you understand war? War is your industry. Advertising is my industry. I've been in this industry for a long time. And I'm telling you, with your current strategy, you're having success now, but you want success in the future. And you're going to need a different form of advertising. That's exactly how I'd be. People be sitting there going, oh, okay, it's fine. So you have to be very, very careful with your hands and how you use things. I am very good at that. You, me, this. All these things are learned. You have to adapt your own style. But you need to sit there and think consciously when you speak, what are you doing with your hands? If you're going to sit there and talk with your hands in your pockets, you're not going to be nearly as convincing. If I want to sit there and I want to come across as, there's the old mafia boss, you can sit and be like, with your hands in one place and just use your eyes instead. That works. But that's that's the kind of body language you use when you don't really want to talk anymore. If I'm about to have someone shot and they come in to apologize to me before I have them shot in the head, I won't be moving my hands. I'll be listening to them like this. because I don't want to listen to them. I don't want to talk. I don't really give a fuck anymore. Like this, same. Hands across, you don't really care. When I met Donald Trump Jr. in Trump Tower, I was super aware of his body language. What Trump did is something I've never seen before. Trump Jr. We sat down and we started talking. He sat like this, with his hands open on the table. I don't know where he learned that from. I'm sure he was tall. We were having a normal conversation. We had coffee, so we sat down at the table. It was a round table, not like this. And he sat down and he sat like this, which I thought was quite interesting. And I've actually never seen anyone else do that before. So it kind of threw me a bit. And I thought maybe the reason he was taught that is because it's so unusual. Because I read people's body language in every other position. That you've seen it all. I've never seen this, really, ever. So that was interesting. So first thing you do is be very overtly aware of how you use your hands when you speak. If you want to direct something, if you want to be believed, if you want to be convincing, your hands have to be involved in that process. When I was in my police interviews, once again, I would use my hands, overtly. And I would sit there and say, I actually said in some of my police tapes, and when I get them back, when I'm finally cleared of all charges, and this has been on for 4 years, I get the tapes back, and I'm going to release them on Twitter. It's going to be the best thing ever, because I made these police look like fucking fools. But I would say to them, in the tape, I would say, I said on the tape, I said, do you have a camera in here? And they'd be like, oh yeah, we do. I said, okay, I want this for the camera. I don't want this for the tape. I want this for the camera. I am innocent. I am innocent. Me, I've done nothing wrong. Say innocent with your hands up. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. They're different things. I'm innocent. I want this on camera. For the tape, reference the time. What time is it? Point at someone when you need something. 5:15. 5:15. Look at the day. 5:15, 24th of November. Look, I've done nothing wrong. I said that shit directly to the camera. I've referenced it off the tape. Body language makes a huge, huge difference. And basically, if you want to be believed or trusted, in my experience, which is fucking vast, you need to use your hands effectively. I've given you some tips on how I do it. You have to adapt your own style. Like everything in the world, if you completely replicate someone else's style, it comes across as unnatural and it doesn't work. You need your own style. You can't be exactly the same as me, and I can't be exactly the same as you. Same as boxing or fighting. I can teach you how to do jab cross, but everyone does it a little bit different. Everyone has a slightly different style. So you have to adapt your own style. What you need to do is be overtly aware. If you're aware of things, you'll pick up on things and you'll change things. So the first thing is you need to use your hands more effectively, especially to be trusted and listened to.
I think the most dangerous men on earth are the weak men. I think inside of every single man, we're born with a fire inside of us that if we do not control, can destroy ourselves and other people. And if you look at men who have no emotional control, because that's what they're trying to teach us to have. They're saying, listen, you're a man, you're allowed to just cry all the time and have no emotional control, no stoicism, just react to your emotions. Do you know what happens when you tell men to just react to their emotions? Anger. You have school shootings, you have rape, you have violence. That's what happens when you tell men to have no emotional control. These school shooters are kids with no emotional control. Rapists are men with no emotional control. Violence and the bullshit you see on the street are men with no emotional control. Telling men to not be stoic is going to create a breed of violent young men who have no emotional control, can't control their emotions and act out on them. That is absolutely and utterly more dangerous to society than me coming along saying, listen, I don't give a fuck how you feel, young man. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have duties and you have responsibilities as an adult, and you must comply and act a certain way regardless of how you feel. That is better for society as a whole, especially as I'm only teaching the tenets of, listen, go to the gym anyway. Doesn't matter. You don't feel like it. Go anyway. Listen, your girlfriend left you. Your heart's broken. You're not allowed to stalk her. She doesn't want you. Get the fuck over it. What I'm saying is good for the world. They're saying, no, act out your emotions. Cool, you're creating stalkers, rapists, and school shooters. These people are dangerous. I say this all the time. I say the best things that ever happened to me are the worst things that ever happened to me. All the trauma and bullshit I've been through in my life are the best things that ever happened to me. Because as a man, if you've not had a difficult life, you cannot be good at being a man. Being a good man and being good at being a man, they're two slightly different things. But to be good at being a man, you need to have been through so much shit that when the Matrix deletes your entire life from the internet and starts lying about you at mass, and people start doing protests wanting you fucking hung, and they're looking for your family members, and reporters start calling every ex-girlfriend you've ever had, trying to convince them and bribe them to lie, to come out and say you're something you're not. When they're genuinely out to put you in jail, that you can sit there and be focused and stoic enough to go, you know what? Okay, what's the chessboard? What's going to happen? Who's trying to shoot me right now? Nobody. Okay, so it's better than it was a couple years ago. Okay, so X, Y, Z, and plan through it, right? You're never going to be capable as a man if you've not had trauma. The best men ever have had trauma. If you call a police officer, you need a brave police officer. He ain't going to be brave unless he's been through shit. Yeah. He's not going to be brave unless he's been through shit. So we also, as a society, sit and look at men and go, there's two kinds of society. There's the matrix society, but the true society, the true women with a brain, they actually, I want a man who's strong, who's supportive, who's intelligent, who financially provides, etc. Then you're going to want a man to some degree who's been through some shit. Yeah. And a man who's internalized it and used it as a weapon. And this is what I say to people. People email me their long lists of all the bad things that happened to them, and I reply, fantastic. You are so lucky. You have all the building blocks to become the exact kind of man you want to be. If none of this shit happened to you, when something else bad happens to you later, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Fantastic. And he goes, no, but this. He replied again with more excuses. Said, why are you making excuses? I just told you what happened to you is a good thing. You need to reframe your mind. Bad things happened to Batman. They killed his parents. Do you understand? That's why he's Batman. You've just told me you have the building blocks to become you might become top G when I retire. Fantastic. What are you complaining about? He goes, well, what do I do? I said, you need to work. Take all that trauma. If you're truly heartbroken, my friend, and we've all been there as men, if you're truly heartbroken, you can't sleep. That means you're going to get in fantastic shape. You better hit the gym. You have nothing else to do. Stop watching YouTube. Stop emailing me. I want pictures of you in the gym. Get to fucking work. Heartbreak's a fantastic motivator, as is depression, as is sadness. Great. Look at what's pissing you off and make sure it never happens again. If you were jacked and rich as she probably wouldn't have left your ass. So get your shit together, right? So this is so important. Trauma is such an important part of being a man. And the Matrix talks of trying to say that trauma is terrible and avoid trauma, or if you get trauma, take a pill, and that's unrealistic. Trauma is going to happen to you, and you as a man need to internalize it, accept it, and weaponize it to become the best version of yourself you can be. And that requires mental strength and stoicism. It does not require, be more emotional. If you're more emotional, you're going to fall apart when shit happens. You're going to end up like Logan Paul, crying your eyes out on TV like a bitch. The men who support me online the men who hate me are fat. The men who've done the takedown videos of me are objectively unattractive individuals. I'm not trying to be insulting, just objectively obese, unattractive individuals, right? People who don't have their life together. It's the same even more with women. You can find 10 women who are sticking up for me, supporting me, they're all beauty queens. And then you find some girl sitting there, some troll sitting in the corner, Andrew's bad for women. So there's a lot to be said there, right? And hate always comes from below, it never comes from above. The people who have their lives together, whether male or female, love me. The people who have failed and they know that the failure is their own fault, and I'm a good mirror, I reflect their own failures at them. Oh yeah, of course they hate me. And that's what's happened here. What's most upsetting is as follows. This whole idea of protecting women and misogyny has been weaponized to attack someone they don't like. These people saying that we need to get them down to some misogynists, they don't give a fuck about women, these people. You think they care? There's some fat troll. There's some dude called Daz who made a takedown video of me, who just came out actually on my last podcast. Turns out he was talking to a 13-year-old girl. So he's a fat pedophile. So there's a fat pedophile who did a video on YouTube about me saying that I'm dangerous for women. Got 10 million hits because he's objectively unattractive, saying that he cares about women, but he's a pedophile himself. He doesn't care about women. He's jealous of me. He's jealous of who I am and my lifestyle. So he's found something he can use to weaponize. If he can't make up that bullshit and attack me, how else can he attack me? Can't call me broke. Can't call me dumb. Can't call me stupid. Like, what can he call me? Well, he's better than me at everything, but if I take this and pretend to give a shit, he doesn't give a fuck. I build orphanages in Romania. I have a charity that rescues stray dogs. I take time out of my life replying to emails saving people from suicide. What the fuck does this guy do for anybody? Nothing. But he's the good person because he gives a shit? No. He's using it as a vehicle to attack somebody who he knows is his superior in every single human metric that can be measured by modern science, and he dislikes me for it. All of this is just weaponized care. Oh, we care so much about, they don't care about fucking anything. They don't care about people. They just dislike me. And that's a very different thing. It's all been false from the beginning. I've seen through it all from the absolute beginning. It's a matrix attack. And like I said, I told you how it happens. YouTube strike, Meta, YouTube, media, Uber, Gmail, Discord, Skype, Twitch, boom, 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 boom. It's all a fucking coordinated hit piece. It's bullshit. I've been saying I said if you have a point of view that you are very strong in your adherence to, if you truly believe something, you need to sit and analyze whether it's your own personal experience that makes you believe something, or if someone else or something else has convinced you of this. And if they have, you need to then once again analyze that point of view and analyze who these people are and what they want from you. Do they truly want the best of you? If the news convinces you of something to the point where you're going to argue with your own family members at a dinner table, does the news really care about you more than your family? This is a genuine question. You need to analyze every belief you hold, where it came from, and then analyze what their intentions are. And if you start to do that, you look at something like COVID, for example, it's an easy one. And you look at all the bullshit they were saying and you sit here and go, wait, these people don't care about me. If I had diabetes or I needed insulin, or if I had cancer, or if I got in a car crash, anything, they'd be hitting me with medical bills I could never possibly afford. They'd let me die. But they are insisting I take this shot for free, on repeat. This doesn't make sense. And when you encourage people to think for themselves, especially the youth, that's what Socrates got accused of. He's corrupting the youth. And to be honest with you, a huge portion of my fan base were 18 to 23, 24-year-old males. When you have the youth, the masculine youth of the world, thinking for themselves, that's pretty scary to authority. Because it's the masculine youth of the world that is, one, the revolutionaries, and two, also, that's the backbone of the slave force. If you need people to go die in a ditch in Afghanistan, you need them. If you need people to work bullshit jobs in a coal mine with no health care, you need them. If you need people to blindly comply to bullshit, you need them more than anybody, more than you need the feminists and the fucking the liberals. You need the real men to go out there and comply with the bullshit, to live a shitty existence, to purport and prop up a system.
The warrior class.
The warrior class, right? And if enough of these men stand in one place and say, this is enough, that's when a revolution happens.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the most dangerous group of the demographic that the Matrix and the people are trying to control, and they have to have a narrative over. And that's why they're trying to weaken them in every regard. And when I'm sitting there saying, don't listen to the bullshit, become physically strong, think for yourself, prioritize your brotherhood above what the fucking Matrix is telling you, do not blindly comply, resist the slave mind, all these things I'm saying, they just sat there one day and said, wait, the most popular person on the planet is saying, don't listen to our bullshit. Delete. What's actually interesting is, and this is what's really, really important, because it becomes a broader argument than just me and what's happened to me. And I want to make something clear to the social media companies also as a whole. A lot of the things I said were in longer format video on YouTube 3-4 years ago. And the way that social media is being produced and also digested has changed significantly in the last year. It's all TikTok, it's all YouTube Shorts, it's all Instagram stories. TikTok in real time has destroyed the attention span of billions of people. Have you ever watched somebody on TikTok? How long do they give a video before they get bored? How long? Watch someone. Next time you see
2
someone on TikTok.
seconds.
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring. Like your attention span is gone. You can no longer focus on the real world. You can't focus on anything. ADHD is being developed in real time from these apps, right? So the idea of me producing a 7-8 minute video like I used to, and people consuming all of it and understanding the context is gone. They'll take one few seconds, like me saying I wouldn't administer CPR to a man, for example. And it was actually satire, of course. It's a joke. I talk at length about how...
That's the part.
That's the whole point. It's a joke. But they take that one part, they put it on a TikTok, boom, 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 they add some editing, they remove the tonality, they make it interesting and funny, and it goes viral. That's fine. But the point we now live in a world where anything you ever say can be taken out of context. Anything you ever say can be weaponized against you. And I'm not complaining. I don't believe in complaining. I believe in responsibility. And I'm not saying I didn't say them. I'm not saying I didn't mean it. I'm saying that most of the people who are upset by things I've said have heard a few clips out of context and never actually digested any of my content seriously. You know, because that was part of a very long video. The idea that I would let my brother die next to me, my own brother, or my friend die next to me.
Because he's not a hot chick.
Because he's not a hot chick. It's asinine. It's an aim, right? But it's stupid to even believe it. But if you watch the whole video at length, that makes sense. But if you only see that, then a product of the modern world where sensationalism gets clicks, where nobody has an attention span, and where they've taken long format content, completely removed all context, and they're now watching something they don't completely understand, along with groupthink, along with group psychosis, along with the idea that it's cool to hate Andrew Tate, they are now saying that I'm the worst man in the world. I can explain each and every one of these sentences, and with explanation, people will understand that I'm not some evil psycho. There's endless videos on TikTok of people going up to women on the street going, what do you think of Andrew Tate? And half of them actually say, we love Andrew Tate. I'd love to date a man like Andrew Tate. He's the kind of guy I like. The girls will say, I hate him. They say, why? He says, he talks bad about women. And then they say, what does he say bad? Every single one of them goes, can't remember. They were told to believe it. Like they're told to wear the mask. They don't even know. They're NPCs. You know what's unfortunate about the world?
What's NPCs?
NPC is like a video game. You ever played a video game, a non-playable character? Where you're like running around in an RPG and there's some character there who just repeats the same line over and over again? They're NPCs. You know what's unfortunate about the way the world is? Maths and statistics insist there's no way this can be broken. That unfortunately, half of the population are more stupid than average. That's the truth. There are a bunch of dumb people out there who just literally repeat what they're told. Tate's dangerous for women. Tate's dangerous for women. Why? So let's talk about, I said corruption's far more accessible in Eastern Europe. The reason I said that is because firstly, I live in Romania, which is a beautiful country full of beautiful people. I was living there and people often say to me, why do you live in a corrupt country? And my argument was, every country's corrupt. If you think America is not corrupt, you are living in a bubble. The world is corrupt. England's corrupt. They're all corrupt. The EU is corrupt. Russia's corrupt. Every country's corrupt. I would rather live in a corrupt country, considering that they're all corrupt, with corruption that's more accessible to myself, than in a country where they're going to pretend there's law and order unless you reach a certain level, and then you can access the corruption. I'll give you a very simple example. If you are, let's say, the husband of a senator, for example, and you DUI, let's just make this up, hypothetically.
This would never happen.
This would never happen
course,
because,
yeah, for sure.
you know, like
this kind of stuff doesn't
America,
happen.
the greatest country in the world. There's no way that
Husbands of senators don't drink. They
don't just DUI. Well, let's imagine you did, right? In America, you get off with it scot-free. But if you're a single mother or you're a single parent and you're out there working a minimum wage job and you're trying your very, very hardest and you have kids to raise, you get a DUI, you're fucked. Now, I think it's kind of unfair that the corruption limit in a rich country, in this hypothetical super rich country, means that people at the absolute elite can do whatever they want and nobody else has access. I'll give you another example. Let's imagine you're in Serbia. Same scenario. You're a senator's husband and you get caught with DUI. Of course, nothing's going to happen to you. But you're a normal person, you get caught with a DUI. Bro, I've had a hard day at work. I know I'm over the limit. I'm sorry. Here's $50. I'm sorry. I'm just going to drive straight. All right, cool. Go home. Bam. Accessible corruption. To me, that's a more of an appealing environment to live under than under a society where they're going to take a normal person, wreck them under the law, throw their ass in jail and fucking destroy them, and sit there and cry about law and order, law and order, law and order, when it's all bullshit anyway. There's no law and order. The threshold for corruption is too high. So for me as a person, you said I'm a chess player. If I'm a chess player and I analyze the chessboard, I have geographical freedom. I have financial freedom. I'm going to live in a society. Why don't I live in a society where I have the most possible moves to make on a chessboard? Where would I go? I'd go somewhere where my money can benefit me. I don't have billions. I'm not a senator's son, but I have enough to live in some other countries and be protected in some regards. That's just an intelligent chess move. I explained this at length in a video. All that context all removed, I was talking about speeding fines. They take the misogyny thing, they take something about rape, which is imaginary because I have no criminal charges against females against anything in my life ever. They put it together, they take in the corruption from Romania, they throw that in, they whip it up, and they throw it out to the world. And it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And why they would say that. Now, what's actually interesting is Bucharest, the capital of Romania, where I live, is statistically 25 times safer than a city like London. It's not even a dangerous place. It's the most Christian country on earth, 99.3% Christian in the last census. There's churches everywhere. It's highly religious. It's a very nice place. It's just a different economic bracket. It's nothing to do about Romania specifically. If you go to any second world country in the world with a different economic bracket, the corruption is going to be more accessible, the price is lower. Humans are corrupt. Every single institution on the face of the planet that is run by humans, which is currently all of them, at some degree is corrupt. All of them. Whether it's doctors, financial, judicial, law and order, the monetary system, it's all completely and utterly corrupt. And to sit here and believe that any of them are just and fair, I think we've just learned in the last few years that we can see that even simple things like keeping people alive, even medicine, is completely corrupt from head to toe. All of it is. So you have to understand that, and then you have to look at the chessboard and go, okay, if it's all completely and utterly corrupt, and I understand that there are certain people who get to play the game on cheat mode. Do I want to be able to play the game on cheat mode if I'm going to try and be the best version of myself? Well, yes, I could possibly do that in Nigeria. I could play on cheat mode. I could possibly play on cheat mode in Croatia. I could possibly play on cheat mode here. Here, I have to stick to the rules. If I have to obey the rules of chess against a person who can move their pieces however they want, I'm going to be perpetually crushed for eternity. So it makes that's just smart business sense to me to sit there and go, you know what? Fuck it. Let's change the board. Let's move it out. Let's reset up the pieces and let's play this way. And this is nothing specific with the country I live. I have absolute respect for the country I live. This is just human nature. It's the nature of systems and how they work and the nature of the first world, second world, third world. This is just how the world works. So I say these things and people want to sit here and try and they mix it up. They take that and they try and mix it up with some girl shit and try and pretend I'm not talking about basic things like speeding fines. That's really what I'm talking about. And we can have a long, detailed argument about how corrupt America is, but I like to think that most people with a brain understand the kind of shit that's going down in America. So America's absolutely corrupt as well. It's just a corrupt world. Do you think the people who are in charge of the world, for the power and control of the entire populace and all of its resources, are not going to consider cheating to win? You think it's not going to cross their mind to just go, you know what, let's just change this little bit.
I was thinking.
You're going to sit there and believe, no, it's fair? Nothing is fair. Nothing has ever been fair. If you've lived a life of genuine hardship, the first thing you will learn is that nothing is ever fair. I've never seen a fair fight in the street. I've never seen a fair relationship. I've never seen a fucking person lose his girlfriend or lose her husband fairly. I've never seen a fair incident on the fucking road when someone gets crushed by a truck. The world is a very unfair place. And humans come along and we purport this idea, don't worry, if we're in charge, we'll make it fair. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Nothing is ever fair. And the human inclination is to win, as it should be. And the more powerful you are and the higher the stakes, the higher your inclination to win, as it should be. This is human nature. You wouldn't be able to put yourself in a position of power if you thought any other way. So if you're going to sit there and accept the basis that we're going to cheat in a basic basketball game, that people cheat in football games, people cheat in poker, and people cheat in all this bullshit, and then say no, but they're not going to cheat to control the world, then you're asinine. It's all a fucking lie. It's all a cheat. You say that, but anyone who ever advocates for more government or more law, whether they believe there's corruption or otherwise, are acting adverse to the truth, right? If you believe an institution is corrupt, and then you say, I want them to have more power, well, then what? So you have to look at the people who are always advocating for more law. Those people who are advocating for more law or stricter controls, to a degree, are on the side of a corrupt institution. And it's actually very difficult because we need laws. Nobody wants to live in a failed state without law. Of course, humans need laws completely. But dying empires, this was said by somebody more intelligent than me, but I can't remember their name. Dying empires adopt laws like a sick man adopts medicine. And you'll see why some of these countries in the world, especially the first world countries, as things get harder and harder and harder, the government only has one answer to all problems: law. Energy crisis is out of control.
You
More
do need law and order, though.
You need law and order.
You
Of
need
course
law
you
and
do.
order.
Absolutely you
Yeah.
do. But I'm saying that you get to a point where you end up, you wonder how you end up in a tyrannical society. You wonder how you end up in a society where it's so hard for the average person to survive against the law itself. Because when something bad happens inside of a first world nation, the first answer is just to create more law. There's an energy crisis, make more law. There's too much crime, make more law. Inflation, make more law. More law, more law, more law. Print more laws, print more laws, print more laws. You end up with a book of law like this, and it can be thrown at anybody at any time. And this is what's actually interesting about some societies in the world. I live in a country, Romania, which is one of the poorest countries in Europe. It's a homogenous society, but it's very poor. The police drive Dacias that can't go more than 65 miles an hour. Underfunded police force. There's no crime. There's not this big, huge book of law. It's just don't kill anybody, don't be an idiot. And just live your life. Pretty normal. And it's like that in many places in the world. But in other societies and other empires, like, no, we need a law for everything. A law about how you use your telephone, a law about how you listen to the radio, a law about how you do bank transfer, a law about this, a law about law. And to a degree, it ends up sooner on a long enough time frame. If you're going to make new laws every single day into eternity, where are you going to end up? Whereas in other nations, they have the mechanism to enforce the law, so they pass them. So, but my point is, if I lived in a nation where they're printing 5,000 new laws a week, I know that's going to end up in tyranny. Regardless, sooner or later, if you're going to make new laws every fucking day, sooner or later it's going to be impossible for you to go outside my house. But that's it. And you end up in a society where that actually literally came true in certain states in America. You couldn't leave your fucking house. That's what happens. And it's a sad state of the world, and I'm not a pessimist in any regard. I'm just trying to analyze the chessboard and be as perspicacious as possible and set myself up in a position where I feel like I can live a life true to myself and true to God and be free and enjoy the freedom of my family and just do what I want to do without hurting anyone. That's all I'm trying. Really good point of view, and it actually ties in very interesting to another point I want to make, where there's a correlation between people who are free thinkers and people who have opinions which differ from the norm and their testosterone levels. I don't know if you've ever seen this. But the higher your testosterone level, the more likely you are to stand up and say something that the group doesn't agree with. The basic premise behind it, biologically, is you're more prepared to defend your idea. If you stand up against 5 men and say, you're wrong, I believe this, at some point, and especially in history, that can become violent. So if you don't have the capability or at least the bravery to stand up and face the possibility of violence, you're more likely to just comply with the group thing. So they've done a whole bunch of studies that proves somebody who is combative, not in a negative way, but combative as a whole in regards to not physically afraid of having a confrontation, let's say, is more likely to have an independent idea as opposed to somebody who is the complete opposite. They're just pure groupthink because fish swim in schools, right? It's how they protect themselves. So it's an interesting point you have there. And also that can be extrapolated if you look at the political parties of the world or you look at the different ideas, etc. You can usually look at someone and kind of see their politics. Sometimes you can look at them and go, yeah, I get it. Right? So there's a lot, biology is a huge part to play with it. And yeah, I agree with you.
I very briefly mentioned tagging myself at the Grand Hotel in Stockholm. Women will seek you out, not just in the real world, but in the online world more so than ever before. Young women who have never lived a life without Instagram, or 18, 19, 20, 21. If you take a very good picture, as of this day, I recently uploaded one of me sitting in a hot tub, which is full of money, with a girl in a bikini lighting my cigar while I'm drinking a glass of whiskey. That picture went viral. Thousands and thousands of likes. People who didn't know who I was, people who had never interacted with my profile saw it on their newsfeed because I planned out the good picture and I took it. I had lots of women message me Haha, I'd never light your cigar for you. But she messaged me, that means she would. You actively get searched out when you're an elite level guy. And this is what I mean, one more time, when I say you have to train and you have to work at being an elite playboy. That's the key. That way you do get searched out. If you're a normal guy marching around the mall trying to collect phone numbers, no girl in the universe is ever gonna say to her friend, hey, that guy who marches around the mall asking every girl's number, yeah, he's hot, do you know his name? Or no one is gonna message you on Instagram, aren't you that guy who marches around the mall asking girls for her number? Wow, you know what, why don't you take me on a date? No, you get searched out and you get scouted and hunted when you're a top 1% man. So, if you're not being scouted out, if you're not being hunted, if you're not being searched for, what exactly are you missing, guys? Stand up, look down, can you see? No, then you're too fat, lose some weight. Women care about looks too. I'm not the best looking guy in the world, sure, but I make an effort, I try, I work out, I get into shape. All these women wouldn't like me as much if I was 20 pounds heavier or 30 pounds heavier. Of course they wouldn't. So, you do get searched out when you're a top level guy, so absolutely invest your time in that. Get a gym membership, obviously make some money, drive a nice car, do something productive. Maybe you play the guitar very well. I don't play the guitar. Maybe you're an amazing surfer. These things get women too. I myself was a kickboxer. It didn't attract as many women as you'd think, but when I was young and I didn't have any money and I couldn't do fun things and I couldn't go to nice bars or nice clubs, the fact that I was a kickboxer got a lot of attention. I could beat another man up. Sure, I was broke, but girls liked that. I always had pretty girlfriends. So what are you doing right now? If you are just a normal guy with a normal job doing nothing, you don't produce any content, you're not talented, you can't do gymnastics or play the guitar, do something. Because every man in the world has that he wants to get sucked. Every dude on earth, and you're just another one of them. Unless you make yourself different in some way, you will never get scouted out. But it certainly is a way to meet women. Believe me, happens to me all the time. That's how top level guys meet women. So essentially all the same ways most other guys do, but there are little twists and little spins on everything. I'm going to very briefly cover what not to do. Obviously, I've gone into day game. Don't do that. You need your time. You need your time to work out. You need your time to make money. You need your hours of your day. You can't go marching around malls or marching around parks trying to go up to every woman who you speak to. Do not send pictures of your dick. If you're watching this and you send pictures of, what are you doing? Women don't want to see, bro. Don't send random pictures to girls. That's obviously a fucking red line. That's more women see my dick than the guys who send to all the women on the internet. And you know why? Because women actually want to have sex with me. Don't send pictures of guys. That's obviously a big thing not to do. Do not spam messages. If you message a girl once and she does not reply, do not send her another message. Even if you have her number and you message her once, twice, 3 times, no reply, give up, quit, delete her number, move on to the next target. Message spamming isn't cool. These are the basic things of what not to do. But that is, in essence, how I meet my women. Now I'm going to go on to dating, because dating is the important part. Dating is how I add women to my collection. The most important part of dating when you are an elite playboy is something that you guys probably wouldn't guess if you bought this course. It is time management. When do you go on dates? In the evening. What do you do? Dinner. After dinner? Drinks. After drinks, you try to have sex with her. Maybe she goes home. Maybe she comes back to your place. Wrong. Wrong, you don't do that. How are you going to have 6 girlfriends and 10 side chicks if you commit an entire evening of dinner and drinks, ignoring your other girls on your phone to try to have sex with a single girl? That is not possible. If that is your method, you're going to have 2 girls or 3 girls on the go maximum. That is it. Well, it's not magic. I can't add hours of the day and I can't make time, but time management is the key to dating multiple women, to having a harem of women. You have to manage your time. So I'm going to give you an example. You need to turn things that you have to do anyway into dates. You can't commit a whole evening to a new girl. So I've met a new girl at a club. I have her phone number. All of my girlfriends want to see me. Let's say I've picked one of them for tonight. I know which girlfriend is coming over to my house and which girl I'm having sex with tonight. I meet my new girl when I do something mundane that I have to do anyway. I'm running errands in the city. I'll say, you know, baby, I'll tell you what, I'll pick you up. We'll go for a little drive. We'll go for coffee. I'll pick her up at 3 or 4 p.m. I'll do my errands, drop the things off that I have to drop off, you know. Have a coffee with the girl for 20 minutes, make her laugh, make her smile, 2 hours only, then I'll take her home. Now, something different has happened to this girl when she's been with me than she's been with the typical guy. Made her laugh, made her smile, she had a wonderful time, but there was no drinking, there was no getting her drunk, there was no me trying to have sex with her, there was no me leaning in for a kiss. She's back at home at 5 p.m. like, okay, well that was fun. And she's alone in the evening. Who's she thinking about? Me. I can then commit my evening to my girlfriend. I can finish my work around 9 o'clock, spend a few hours watching a movie with my girl. I could text on my phone, my girlfriends don't look at my phone. And the girl who I went on a date with was mine all day. She was mine in the afternoon after I left her home. She was mine in the evening. She was mine at night when I said goodnight to her and she went to sleep thinking about me. I didn't try to fuck her, but I spent enough time with her to implant myself into her mind. I owned her thoughts for 12 hours by investing a little bit of time in the afternoon and still had my evening free to have sex with my girlfriend and keep her happy. That's how you do dates. That's how you time manage. Fuck this evening, go out for drinks, go out for dinner, try and bang them. Cool, you want to get a girlfriend? Do that. That's all you. But if you want to play the game on my level, you cannot afford to waste your evenings. You have to manage your time. Now, this was money well spent. I'm going to let you guys in on the most exclusive elite player tactic that exists in the world. I have never seen another man even do it. I've never heard of another man doing it. I've never heard of another man attempting it. And that is having 2 dates or 3 at the exact same time in the exact same place. A system my brother and I call double booking. What is double booking? How is this possible? I'm going to tell you how. Only the elitist of the elite can pull this off. But once again, I can date 3 or 4 women in a night in the same place, have them all thinking about me, go home to one of my girlfriends, and spend the next 2 or 3 days cleaning up the mess from the girls who I went on the date with. How does one do this? Now, I'm going to tell you, double booking does not work in certain settings. You cannot double book at the cinema. You cannot invite 3 girls to the cinema, all to meet you in the same place and take them all out for a movie when they don't know each other. That doesn't work. Double booking works when there's a vibe, when there's a party atmosphere. And you have to understand that in parties and clubs and bars, women will put on their makeup, put on their dress, do their hair, come out and see you. They haven't got any money. They're hanging out at my table, your table, drinking your drinks. They're not going to storm off and go home because there are some other girls around, especially when you're out with a crew of your friends. Yeah, you know everyone. They're all your friends. It relies on a poker face. These girls do not say to each other, oh, hi, I came here for a date with Tristan. So when I go to a club on a Friday, this is an example of double booking. I'll bring one of my girlfriends. Why not? I love my girlfriends, they're wonderful people. Maybe 2, but let's say 1. One of my girlfriends, and then I'll take 3 of the women I've been texting who I have yet to meet. I'll say, you know, baby, I'm going out to the club tonight. I'm hitting this club. You know, why don't you come with me? Bring your friends. Yeah, it's a group vibe. I'm out with some people I know. I repeat that times 3. 3 women get done up. They shave their legs. They wax their fucking eyebrows, they do their makeup, they do their hair, they paint their fingernails to impress me. I give each one of them maximum 20 minutes of my time. Oh, hey baby, kiss on the cheek, kiss on the cheek. I'm really glad you could make it. Yeah, you know, have a drink. It's way too loud for anyone to hear any conversation that isn't one-on-one. You buy champagne, you keep the party going, everyone's doing shots, everyone's yelling, shouting, celebrating, having a good time. You're all in a big group, and the party atmosphere drowns out the room for difficult conversation. These girls then don't say to each other, hi, why are you here? Did you come here to see, which one of the guys? Tristan? Yeah, I came here to see Tristan. That doesn't happen. They literally introduce themselves to each other. Hi, my name's Andrea. Oh, hi, my name's Christine. Hi. They kiss each other on the cheek. Hey girls, would you like some champagne? I hand them both a glass and the party continues. I call it double booking. Now you'll see these guys on the internet, playboys, so-called, who have tables full of girls. These girls are either not interested in them, not fucking them, or they're escorts, prostitutes, girls who are being paid, girls who are being hired to hang out. That's not how I do it at all. I don't think elite level playboys ever play that game. So I have women all coming for a date with me. They've all brought one or two friends. My friends talk to their friends in a huge mixed group. And if I want one at the end of the night, if one's made it clear she wants to stay with me, I can sneak off with her, leave 20 minutes before my friends. My friends will give me covering fire. If not, then I'll go home with one of my girlfriends. I'll go home to one of my girlfriends. I'll go home to two of my girlfriends. But all of these women, as far as they're concerned, I went to the club and I took them with me. They were my date for that evening. The evening when all the champagne comes over, everyone's looking at the party that's being had. They were my date. So yeah, double booking, elite playboy tactic. Nobody I know does this. Only me and my brother. And we have a good saying, the only thing better than double booking is triple booking. Which sounds stupid, but now you understand how the tactic works. The more there are, the less room there is for any difficult conversation to happen or any mistakes to be made. You couldn't pull this off at the cinema. You couldn't pull this off at the restaurant. But next time you're going to a club and taking a date, invite more girls. Double book yourself. Try it out. And then message me on Instagram and tell me, Tristan, thank you, because it works. So you know, when I go to clubs and when I go to bars, I'm usually double booked or triple booked. My table has lots of women on it. Now I'm going to talk to you about club game, how I run game inside of the club. Now, of course, I'm spending some money. I have some bottles of vodka, some bottles of champagne, depending on what your budget is. As long as you have enough alcohol to get everyone at the table drunk and partying, that's enough. You don't need to be a millionaire to pull off this double booking technique. Any club, any bar or restaurant that has a party atmosphere, you could do it at. But when I'm there, as I said, if you want to be elite, you have to make the effort. I can't go out there with 3 or 4 women and a girlfriend and think, you know what? Wow, this is wonderful. I can have any of these girls I choose. This is great. That's enough. It's never enough. So when you're in that position, the winning position, you're the man in the club with the women, how do you capitalize on it to meet more women? This is when you do your approaches, gentlemen. You're the guy, you're dressed nicely, you're looking your best, you're surrounded by women, you're on the table, you're drinking your champagne. If you think that other women in the club don't notice this, you are wrong. You need to expand your horizons. You don't just look at your table and what you have there. Look further, look deeper into the crowd. Look at the bar. Who are the 2 girls standing on the bar? They're looking at you. Of course they are. You're the guy with all the girls in the club. Now, they're looking at you. Who in their right mind, if they're with their girlfriends and on dates, would walk over and approach the 2 girls at the bar? Surely nobody. That's why you do it. You walk over to the girls and say, hey girls, hey, I saw you looking, you look familiar. Have I met you before? Oh no, maybe you just have one of those faces. I'll tell you what, no, me and my friends are all having a drink. Don't stand over here by the bar, it's lame, all these dorks trying to talk to you. Come over with me. Come have a drink with me. Let's go. Maybe it's a yes, maybe it's a no. But you have to make your approaches. It doesn't matter what crowd you're in. They may say yes. They come over. They'll introduce themselves to the other girls. They won't say, oh, are you on a date with Tristan? Are you not? They are blinded by how fun the party situation is, and you've added 2 more to your triple booked girlfriend date situation.